Hi and welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing a very simple demonstration to show you that hot metal does indeed work harden. So in other words, even though you very carefully bring the metal up to a forging temperature and you work with it very carefully at that temperature and don't let it cool down too much, there is still stress being created in the metal, and if you continue forging that metal, there is a limit to the amount of stress that that metal will take, and it will start to fail the same way it would when you're forging with it cold. So hot forging doesn't eliminate the stress, it just greatly slows down the process. So something that would happen to a cold piece of metal in a few seconds might take a half an hour or more in a hot piece of metal. But the stress is still being placed in the metal and the effects are basically the same. So as you can see here, I'm just bending the end of this bar back and forth. I'm not putting any sharp creases in it. I'm bending it over a fairly good radius on the anvil. So a novice might think that I should be able to do this all day long without any problems, but as you'll see here in a moment, that isn't the case at all. I've only bent this back and forth a half a dozen times, and you can already see the surface of the metal starting to break down. It looks like a piece of dried, cracked leather. So if I continue with the process, this condition is just going to start getting worse and worse. So why is this happening? Well, even though these bends don't look like I'm doing a lot to the metal, there is really a lot going on. With each bend, one face of the metal needs to compress and the other face of the metal needs to stretch. When I turn that around and reverse it, then the opposite side needs to compress and then the other side needs to stress. As I keep working back and forth, I really am placing the metal through a lot. So you might say, well, who's going to do that? Well, a novice does that, and that's the reason I'm doing this video, because they'll bend something into a shape and say, oh, that's not right, I'm going to straighten it out and do it again, and then it's still not right, so they straighten it out and do it again, and they continue that, and then they can't figure out why the piece just fell off. So it's important to realize that even though 99.9% of the time, the forging that you do on a piece of metal leaves it virtually stress-free, these radical changes in direction are really detrimental to a piece. And this kind of damage can happen very easily when you don't have a lot of experience and you just can't seem to get the job done right the first time. And the damage caused by this stress causes a problem long before the piece actually fails. Here you can see how the surface is deeply pitted and scarred, and I probably wouldn't be able to even grind out this defect and get back down to clean metal without really thinning out the cross section a lot. Here I've moved along in the process a little bit. I'm about half a dozen more bends down the road and the end is just about ready to fall off. I'm going to leave it here because I want to be able to straighten it out and photograph the cracks in the metals, but it's just about ready to break. And I've been working on this for just about 15 minutes. I know it looks a lot like I burnt the metal, but I didn't. This is just the effect of bending the piece back and forth. So if you're having problems trying to get a certain detail right and you're always working back and forth the way I'm showing here, just trying to get it perfect, keep an eye on the surface of the metal for the warning signs that I've shown you here, and you may just need to settle for it not being quite right instead of having it break altogether on you. Hi, I'm Dennis and thanks for watching. If you're interested in supporting this channel, the simplest way, of course, is to like, comment, and subscribe. If you have questions and you want to contact me directly, you can do so by emailing me at either one of the addresses that I have listed here. It may take me a couple of days, but I will get back to you. Of course, financial support is always welcome. The only product that I produce is the information contained in these free videos. So if you like the work that I'm doing and the videos that I'm putting out, and you can spare a couple of dollars a month, consider becoming a patron by clicking the orange Patreon logo at the bottom of the screen. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.